Before we begin, in 2019, YouTube was caught data mining children under the age of 13, violating the Child's Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA. Since settling, YouTube has enacted new policies meant to dodge responsibility and scapegoat creators. This video is not made for kids. It is not targeted at kids. It is not advertising to kids. Parental discretion is advised. Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is the Sentinel watching over Geekdom, and welcome back to Sentinel Reviews. Our look at Sarah Jane Smith continues with Test of Nerve, released in September of 2002, written by David Bishop, directed by Gary Russell. Test of Nerve stars Elizabeth Sladen as Sarah Jane Smith. As always, there is a blanket spoiler warning in place. I will be talking spoilers, most likely. So in the description box below is a link to the download of Test of Nerve, which is $2.99 USD, and a link to the download of Sarah Jane Smith, the complete series. I kind of realized while editing that in my last video for the Dow Connection, I forgot to mention the spoiler warning, but I'm making sure I mention it here because this is a good story. Seriously, the Dow Connection is awful. But anyway, so this story, once again, that overarching arc that was established in Comeback is coming back, and that's basically all this story is. It's the first time, as far as I know, yes, that this arc for, I think, just Series 1, like I said, I haven't listened ahead, so I'm doing these as I go along, but Test of Nerve is the first time the series arc hits its head, and this entire story is sort of focused solely on that arc. So, after the events of Comeback and the Dow Connection, Natalie has finally set up Sarah with a living quarters and a source of income, an account, etc., and she is living in this flat with Josh and Natalie. And first of all, let me preface this by saying Liz Sladen's performance is great, and I'm going to talk about that as we sort of go on. Anyway, Sarah receives a package. It's a little glass box with a mouse in it, and a capsule. This capsule breaks, filling the box with nerve gas, killing the mouse instantly. And Sarah also receives a note that says something along the lines of, paraphrasing here, "You have 24 hours to figure this out, otherwise all of London will suffer the same fate." And here, part of why Liz Sladen performance is so great is because here, Sarah begins to unravel, after sort of essentially going on the run because her career is in shambles and realizing someone is after her. She starts to let her paranoia get the better of her, making brash, unusual decisions. Like, she has a friend in intelligence, and she wants to take this box with the dead rat and the nerve gas she received to her to have it analyzed. And as Sarah continually throws herself into danger, Natalie and Josh are like, "You need to call the cops. You need help." And Sarah's response is constantly, "If I do that, we have to give over everything we know. And then every lead we have, we've lost." And like I said, and she starts distancing herself from Josh and Natalie, trying to figure out things to do herself. Which comes to a head at the end of the story, which I'll try to get to. Before I go any further, though, I just want to say, how much I love this story. I think part of it is because it is a palate cleanser, because the Dow Connection was so awful. But part of it, too, is, like I said, the overarching plot of this series, Sarah Jane Smith is very much a conspiracy thriller. And I love conspiracy thrillers. It's one of my favorite genres. And just the quality of this story alone, I can kind of see why David Bishop wrote all of Series 2. I think, let me check real quick. I just want to double check something. Yep, he also wrote Full Fathom 5. That probably explains why I like it so much. So, yeah, aside from that, and also the main antagonist of this story is also really great. A man who only calls himself Mr. Harris. We saw a little bit of him in Comeback. He was sort of the man behind the curtain, the man in charge. And here, as I said, he is the main antagonist. And just seeing him on the forefront, he is absolutely terrifying. Like, he sets up an impossible scenario for Sarah, you know? He basically set up a veteran with mental health issues. He's set him up and convinced him to release nerve gas into the subway line, into the tube. But at the same time, he's gone to Sarah's apartment, he's taken Natalie's wheelchair from her, and then he's put a bomb in her apartment, and he calls Sarah and says, you can save everyone in London, or you can save your friend. What are you gonna do? Which is where the climax of this story comes in, and it's so thrilling. And there's a lot of build-up to it as well. I should have mentioned, like I said, Sarah takes this package she received to one of her friends in intelligence to have it analyzed, and then Harris kills her. Like I said, if I was disappointed, it's that Harris isn't really the main antagonist. He's just a hired hand for the main antagonist, who we get a glimpse of. And I don't know exactly who it is. It's just, this is our first time meeting them, so I don't know what it's building up to. And as I progress through listening to this, I will look into it and see who she is, so that when we get to the final story of Series 1, I can be a little more explaining on it. But yeah, anyway. So Sarah chooses to save everyone on the tube from this man with mental health issues. I'm forgetting his name, I apologize. And it really shakes everyone. Like, first, Natalie is just devastated, you know, that Sarah chose not to save her. And the writing does a really good job at establishing that Sarah was in the right, you know, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. And Natalie understands that is right, but it's just, she's still really shaken. I mean, which is pretty understandable, you know. Yes, you saved who knows how many thousands of people, but at the same time, I could have died. You were my friend, why didn't you help me? And I just really want to make it well heard that the story did a really good job at both justifying Natalie's anger at Sarah while she understands that Sarah did the right thing. Also, the way Sarah escalates in this story, the more and more paranoid she becomes, the more she unravels as she tries to figure this out. It does kind of justify her decision at the end of the Dow connection. Still a decision I find really questionable, but it does kind of help justify it. I don't really think there's anything more to talk about. At least off trying to recall it. Test of Nerve is great. So far, it's one of my favorite stories. A thrilling plot with a really good hook, strong performances, and just a great cliffhanger ending, you know. I'm going to give Test of Nerve... Actually, I can't think of any real issues I have with it. I'm going to give Test of Nerve a 10 out of 10. So join me next week when we look at the penultimate story of Series 1, Ghost Town. And those were my thoughts on Test of Nerve. Have you heard it? What did you think? Start a conversation in the comments below. I love debate and conversation. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share the video around. It all helps my channel grow. Click the little bell next to subscribe to get notifications on when I upload. In the description box below, you'll find the link to my Ko-fi, where you can help support the channel, and you'll find the link to my Twitter, where you can follow me and get updates on the channel. This is the Sentinel, watching over Geekdom, and I'll see you guys next time.